Hello, hello, hello. This is the Poetic Perfectionist Podcast. I am your host, Sophia.
And I'm your other host, Abigail, but you can call me Abby for short.
Girl, how's it going?
Girl, we going through it. Yeah, going through it.
Ew, ew.
We're
Well, well,
surviving, but we're going through it. I
who's
hope your
putting
day
you
was
through
better
hell? Who's putting you through
than
hell?
you name it. Just life in general, just beating me up every time I get out of that hole. Just a little inch, I get beat down 2 more feet.
You know what you need to do? You need to run down and beat them down. Beat them down.
You know I'm not meant for that type of life.
Yeah, you're right. You delicate. Don't beat
I'm,
them down.
I'm,
Don't run
I'm,
up on them.
I'm fighting right now. I'm
Retreat.
doing the best
Retreat.
I can. I'm doing the best I can.
Retreat, girl. Retreat. It ain't in you.
That is the plan. That is the plan. Especially now, we getting close to the hibernation season.
Ooh. You
You
know
ain't
that's my
finna catch me
favorite
outside.
time.
Mm-mm.
Girl, you know that's my favorite time. I got my sweats out. I got my shoes out. I got my fuzzy socks out. Ooh, I am so happy.
Listen, you will not see me. Okay, I will be a burrito somewhere, anywhere, everywhere. Okay, outside, not for me. Friends, don't call me. Friends don't need me. Family don't know me.
Really, really, don't know me. That's a bit much.
What? Listen, I'm just saying, I take the winter solstice very seriously, okay? I am usually running cold. This season is not for me. I thrive in spring, summer. I'm okay in the fall. As soon as we hit the Arctic breeze, nope, nope, not today, not now, not never, Satan. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Oh, are
not
you
for
one of
me.
those? Are you one of those people where, like, if the sun isn't out, you get like seasonal depression? Like, it really
Oh yeah,
just dampens your.
100%,
Mm.
100%. I have no motivation to do anything when the sun is not out.
I'm sorry,
Like
friend.
no motivation. Like honestly, I don't even know how like I get work done. Like it's really hard. Don't get me wrong. It's very hard getting work done when you're like that drained. Like I can even go to bed early, get plenty of sleep. If I don't even have a few minutes of just letting that sunrise just hit my skin and my melanin just soak it in,
Mm-hmm.
nope. That's it. That's it. That day is already done. We off it.
Aw, I'm sorry, friend. Well, here's to hoping that there's some few sunny days for you, even in the winter.
That would be
Just,
nice.
just crack your window just a little bit. And when I mean by window, I mean the blinds. Just crack the blind a little bit so you let the sun in.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, did you do anything fun? We had a long weekend, so I know you had some fun, girl.
Oh, it was busy. Not so much fun, but busy. I worked both jobs on the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I had my hair appointment, and then I had to get my car. My car was basically getting looked at all day because
Mm.
I, because before, I don't know if you remember, my brake light was acting up,
Yeah.
and so it was both sides at first. And then so I got the driver's side fixed. The so it ended up being discovered that it wasn't the actual light. Like I spent money getting the whole actual tail light changed, and it ended up just to find out that it wasn't even the problem. Like it was a wiring issue. Like the wires was acting up. So
Oh.
since it was on the driver's side that kept of like going out, I changed the whole brake, like the whole light in the back, and then I had to go and get the so then they'll I had to get the wiring changed for the driver's side as well.
Mm.
Things were fine, no issues, no problem. A couple months go by, and then next thing I know, the passenger side is now acting up. So since I went through all that trouble with the driver's side, I knew that it wasn't the bulbs or the light itself, that it was the wiring.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had wiring checked out this Saturday. So then I got the wiring checked out. It got, cut, changed or whatever. But the issue is the wiring was like, because the wiring was so complicated, I had to put it on hold. So it was just like, okay, go in there, test out a few things to make sure that the lines were still working, that there
Mhm.
wasn't anything more deeper that was like disconnected or fried or whatever.
Mhm.
All day doing that, checking every single possible thing, and then just to find out what the exact thing was. So that was all of Saturday. Sunday, went back, checked it, changed it, and then now also had to check inside the car because the lights inside the car where the radio was not lighting up. So then you have to figure out what was the problem with that. This and the third, if the wiring issue was like, kind of traveling or something, or if there was a source somewhere else that was creating the other problems. It was very exhausting. Even though I wasn't doing anything and stuff, it was just tired nonetheless. It
Girl, I'm
was,
tired for you. Just listening to that whole story.
yeah, no,
I'm ready for a nap.
seriously, that's what I did. Why do you think? That's what I think. Yesterday, all I did, I told myself, I was like, oh, I was gonna get up, I was gonna do my yoga session because I told myself twice a week I'll be working out, which I'll still do twice a week, but I would prefer if I could have done it like on Monday and then Monday morning and then do it on Thursday on my regular day off or whatever.
Mhm.
I woke up and I told myself, like, yep, I'm gonna work out. Like, I'm gonna log into work for a little bit and do a couple hours of some stuff that I need to get done. Nope,
Mhm.
I had no motivation whatsoever to get all that. I literally slept, woke up. I like, binge watch a show. Um, I scrolled online for a little bit. I literally did just anything that did not require a lot of energy or to do anything because it literally was like the first day in a very long time since I just got to do that and not do anything, just left alone, uninterrupted because both of my sisters had to work. So I had the apartment to myself, which was great because I got to lay down, relax, while the rest of them was like going into work, and I was just like, well, actually, it wasn't both of them. Well, one of them went to work in the morning, and then the other went in the afternoon, so they kind of swapped where I had one different hours of the day, but for
Yeah.
the most part, it was as if I had it to myself.
Oh. Well,
So
okay.
it was nice.
She said
Yeah.
it was nice.
That's how I spent it. I mean, I try not to think too hard about the pile and pile of laundry that's just growing and waiting to be.
Why are we talking about something so depressing? No. Go back to like, oh, the joys of, relaxing. Go back to that part. Don't start talking about responsibilities. That's depressing. Don't nobody
Okay.
want to hear about that. I mean,
Okay.
they
Cool.
do, but we really don't.
Okay.
Not on our day offs.
How was your long weekend?
It
Hopefully, it was
was
a lot more interesting.
it was it was different. I realized that I'm not the type of person that likes to sit still, like at all.
No, really.
I know, right? It's
I
so
would have
shocking when
never
I
guessed.
it's so shocking when I tell people that. They're like, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
they
So
they,
shocked.
they react just like you."
You never. I never would have guessed it.
So of course, it's just because I told myself, all right, because one of my goals this year for the remaining 2023, the last what 3 months, it's just
Hmm.
need to get a car. This whole okay, I work from home, I get it. I can take my time looking, da 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 da. That's nice. Take your time, girl. No rush. You ain't, everything can come to you, blah, 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 whatever. That's nice and all. But then when I got things that I need to do and places I need to go, even if I have nowhere to go, I still feel like I have somewhere to go.
No, listen.
I
That's
can't be
why.
sitting here waiting.
No, you can't. Listen, the car is a symbol of your freedom. It doesn't have to, you don't even need to go anywhere. It's just the fact that you have a choice,
Hmm.
that you're not some trapped and captive audience. I completely
Exactly.
understand. When I didn't have my car, oh, it was devastating. And even then, I just couldn't bring myself to do the public transportation thing because that was even more depressing.
So of course, I had a conversation with my dad the other day, and he's like, "Well, you can always use my car. I'm not stepping foot in your car. Your car always looks like there's some a bomb went off. No, like it's
Mhm.
not my car, not my problem. All I care about is putting gas in the car so I can get back home. And that's it. I'm not stopping for that. He's like, oh, so now you're too good for my car? Yes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I am. Because I
100%.
know what it's like to have my own. I don't want to go back.
She's like, I ain't going back.
I waited on my friend to pick me up the other day because I needed to replace my TV. Granted, she lives 5 minutes away from me. Why I'm rushing this girl? I was like, "Where are you? Hurry up! The store's gonna close." And she's like, "Girl, it is 6:30. Walmart is not closing until 11. Relax." I was like, "Girl, what is taking you so long?" She's like, "Oh my gosh, what are you? I'm sorry. I just pulled into your driveway." I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, girl, what took you for?" I felt like I was waiting forever for you. I was literally only waiting 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's just the you not having that instant gratification of just like this thought just come into my mind. Let me walk outside the house and get into my vehicle and just go and do this thing.
Yeah. It was so I was just like I need to get this car. I'm out here rushing my people, my trusted people. I can't be like this. Mm-mm. I won't have no friends, and all my friends have cars. I can't lose them. I can't lose y'all. Because the next step is to get an Uber, and half of them don't know where they're going. They be pissing me off with their driving.
Yes,
It's not their driving themselves; it's their sense of directions. Because it's like I know a quicker route, and you're going the route that has all the lights, and that pisses me off.
mm, mm.
Like, why would you go this way? Go that way. That way has no lights, or one set of lights. You're going the public route. Everybody else is going by the high school. No, 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 no. Go this way. I actually got into an argument with one of the Uber drivers. He's like, "Oh, I need to follow the directions on the phone." I was like, "No, you don't. You just need to listen to me because I know where the hell I'm going, and I'm helping you, sir. Get there faster. You're welcome." Yeah, that didn't go down very well.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. He got 1 star just for not
Dang.
listening to me. Just for not listening to me.
No comment. No comment. Maybe you should put it on the list, of like goals and such that you want to do this the next 3 months. Try not to chop the head off, you know.
Of the Uber driver, yeah, that's why I need my car.
Yeah.
I need
That's not
my
the
car.
solution. You still gotta work on that actual thing. You can't
No,
just
that
be
is
like,
working
the
on it.
solution is just get a new car and that just solves it, just taking yourself out of the situation.
Yeah,
That
but it does.
mentality is still there. No,
But
the
it does
mentality
solve
is still there.
it.
You gotta work on it. You gotta
No,
work on that mentality. It's inner work. You work from the inside so it can fix the outside.
yeah, I will work on the inside from the inside of my car,
Oh
and
my
then it'll
goodness.
be outward. Yeah, that's
I'm
how it
done with
works.
you. I'm done with you, Miss
I
Malicious.
understand. My solution is to get the car so I can work on my issues inside my car. I don't
Mm,
understand why you're
mm.
not getting it. I don't understand. Why are you fighting me on this? I'm telling you, girl, that's the answer. So I had that. I had to replace my TV because out of nowhere, all of a sudden, all I get is a black screen. Now, mind you, I've had this TV about 3 years almost, 3, 4 years.
Wow.
And it's one of those Vizio TVs from Walmart and Target, like the more affordable brands.
Mm,
And for the most part, those tend to hold, like when you get the affordable brand TVs, they tend to hold up a little bit better or longer than you expect.
mm-hmm.
I wake up today. I wake up that day, yesterday. It was on. You just had to hold a flashlight to the screen real close to see that it was on. I was
Whoa,
like,
what happened? Did you look up to see what the issue was?
so I
Did you
looked it
hit
up.
it? Did something hit it?
Oh, that's the last thing I hit. Not the TV. Mm-mm. I'll
Mm-mm.
throw my phone before I hit the TV. The phone can handle it, not the TV.
Mm-mm.
So I ended up checking into it. I guess one of the LED lights or whatever
Yeah.
that helps light up the screen was blown out. So that has to be replaced. And
Dang.
judging by the reviews and whatnot, basically it's very time consuming. And I don't have the patience. So I was like, so new TV it is. Maybe I could sell this one for parts, or if I get it replaced, if I get it fixed, I'll just sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do that. So I ended up having to go to Target, buy the TV. First of all, it was a hassle looking for the TV because I was looking for a 43-inch.
Mm.
And all I saw was the 55. And the dude was like, "Oh, we got these 55s." I'm like, "That's not what I want. I want a 43." "Yeah, but the 55 is better." I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked for a 43.
She's like, this is what I have. You got it, you don't. Okay.
My
Like
friend was like, "Well, dang, girl, you ain't got to bite that man's head off. He's giving me
facts.
an opinion. He's giving me his opinion on something he will not be paying for."
Listen, you talked about this. The therapist. Remember, you got to be nice to the opposite sex. You can't be out here chopping their head off like some praying mantis.
I'm trying, but like when you input your opinion on something that you are not paying for, why are we talking? I asked for a 43. Do you have the 43-inch? Yeah, I could check in the back. Please do, sir. Thank you. He's trying to upsell me on the 55. Sir, I have a budget, and I'm trying to stick to it. Now, unless you plan on buying this TV for me, I'm gonna need you to go get that 43-inch.
That's crazy.
So he was able to get one from the back, bring it up. Apparently, Target has this thing I didn't even realize before, or I wasn't even paying attention. The online price is one thing, the in store price is a completely different story. I ended up paying $40 more than the online price. I was like,
Oh yeah, I could have told you that. I've been doing that. Cause they do the same thing at Walmart too.
I've never come across that issue. Like the
Hmm.
online price on Walmart and the store price is like roughly maybe $2 or $3 difference depending on the
Yeah.
item.
Yeah.
But
No,
$40?
because yeah, no, because what happens is you have to understand each store, how they price it is depending on when they actually get the product. So if the product just came in, even though the product's been around for a long time, because it's new to them and it just hit the floor, they're gonna price it a little bit higher because it's like it hasn't been there a while. They know that people's gonna want it. But if it's been there a while, then it's like, we're gonna do a sale thing, and that's how they kind of get you. But either way, like they're still making a profit. It's just that if you don't pay attention and you're not very like, you know, observant in regards to online and the store. That's why sometimes when I see that I do like I liked when we did our recon missions like in the
Hmm.
stores. So we will go to the different stores, just browse around, see what they have and have a mental checklist of where we can get what and what price range that they were at based on the stores we've gone to. And then when we go online, we're like, let's see if we can, not at 10 times, sometimes it's cheaper online. So then sometimes what I personally would do is like once I see that the price was one thing in the store and a different online and it's cheaper online, sometimes what I do is if they have a pickup, I just order it and then put it for pickup.
Mm,
Because it's basically the same thing as if you were getting delivered anyways, because sometimes the pickup is not ready right away. Sometimes the pickup will be like, oh, 3 days from now or something. They'll
yeah,
have it available. So in that sense, I'd rather just do that, save myself the few money, like the $5 to $10 potentially, and then
yeah.
just go pick it up, and then just do another recon mission as well if I want to. Get a little Starbies, call it a day.
Mm. Well, at that particular moment, I was like, you know what? I'll deal with this. Whatever. I'm gonna get my money back on the old TV anyway. Chuck this up as a learning lesson. So we lug the TV into my home and I set it up, and it takes me like maybe 20 minutes to set up. First of all, these smart TVs ask me way too many questions. I just need you to work. That's all I need you to work. That's all I need you to do. I just need to turn on. Hey, hello, Sophia. Welcome to Samsung. How can I help you? Work. That's what I need you to do. Just work. So that was an experience. I had planned on being a couch potato all day yesterday. It was interrupted by Vizio not working and me
Mm,
having to run out like I got Samsung money to buy Samsung.
mm, mm, mm.
By the side note, Samsung needs to cut me a check.
Mm-mm-mm.
Just cause, just cause. I don't have a specific reason, just cause. But yep, um, I'm trying real hard to stick to my budget, and in addition to realizing that I'm not really somebody that likes to sit still, I'm also not somebody that likes to stick to certain guidelines that I did not set for myself. Like I've got a it was a real self-learning experience. It's like I got a problem with y'all telling me what to do with the money that I make.
Mhm.
It's just too many opinions that y'all got out there. You go, I got a budget. I gotta think before I spend. I don't want to do all that. I just want to spend and live my life. That's all I
Well,
want to do.
listen, you have a temporary discipline stuff right now to get yourself out of this debt, get your credit score looking great, and then
Mhm.
you can do that. You're just not quite there yet. I keep telling
No, I'm not.
myself it's like a little bit of sacrifice now. In the long run, I don't have to deal with these debt hanging over my head. They're just temporary things within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. I can pay off, no issues, no problem.
I think in general, it's just the idea that I have to make yet again these sacrifices to get the things that I want. I mean, yes, I know we all need to work hard to attain the things that we want as well, the things that we need in life. I get that. It's just that have I not worked enough? Have I not worked enough?
No, apparently not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a capitalist country.
Yeah.
You
So,
work until you die.
well, they can work until they die. I will not. I
Neither
will work.
will I.
I will work, retire, and then go off into the sunset.
I do not dream of labor. I do labor because it's what I must do to survive. But best believe your girl putting out there in the universe, working towards it, that early fire retirement, that's what we want.
Hmm.
Okay? We're not trying to do like a whole Brady situation. Oh no, I'm retired. No, I'm not. Came back. No, retired. No,
That's
no,
because
no, no. When we leave, it's leave for good.
that's
Okay?
because he needed
It's
a
leave for
hobby.
good.
Brady's problem, he needed a hobby. He had nothing to do at home. All right, he needed something to do. Okay, if he was doing something, he would have retired. We don't have
I'm
that
just
problem.
saying. Just go. Why don't you just? You should have just gone like philanthroping.
Yeah, he had the resources. Start a foundation. That'll keep you busy.
Seriously, you
That'll
know
keep
how
you
much,
plenty
how
busy.
long it takes to do a foundation?
Yeah, and do it
It's a
right.
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
So I
Or better
decided.
yet, just put your face and your name on it and have them pay you.
Yeah, but he does that with like other advertising deals and marketing stuff. He wants to be hands on.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't blame him on that. If I were him, I would imagine that's exactly what he would want to be hands on. But that because of this crazy, not so relaxed weekend that I had, it had me thinking, you know what? These next 3 months, I need to iron down my goals. I need to get this done. I need to get this car. I need to work on paying off my smaller debts, and I need to tackle these see what these tactics that I've been doing in terms of like payback on the bills and whatnot and budgeting, what's worked, what hasn't worked, because baby, I don't know if you know this, girl, or maybe you have, because it's something that you don't like to acknowledge. The student loan girl.
No,
Oh, come October 1st, people have been paying back. The government said, you must pay us back. Pay us back,
I'm
run us a check.
I'm just sick. Like I am sick. How could they take away my hope? I literally stopped. Like I have been religiously paying my student loan
You have.
since I graduated in 2014. Even before that, I was making payments. I made a few payments before I graduated in 2014. I've been making my payments religiously. When I've lost my job, when I had no job, I still kept paying. I never furloughed, I never put it on hold, none of that. I found a way always to pay, and I always paid more and was months in advance paid.
Ooh,
on
girl.
multiple occasions for
Months
years.
in
And
advance.
then finally, when they were like, oh, they're going to do student forgiveness, I was like, okay, I paid literally a majority of my bill. I have less than 10K left of my student loan. Like, I bust my ass. I worked 2 jobs, I worked 3 jobs. I did whatever I could to get rid of the student loan as quickly as possible because I know at some point in my life, I'll have another debt, which is a loan for a house. But a loan for a house is different. It's not something that's going to carry with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Once I sell the house, that loan disappears. It gets paid off. That's the whole point of it. That needs to go away.
you
It goes away.
you can't sell off your student
I
loans.
can't I can't sell off my student loan. I can't be like, hey, you wanna buy this off me? Like, I don't want it no more. But it got a couple of mileage on her, but it's okay. We cleaned her up, we spruced her a little bit. We got
Mhm.
her new shutters and windows.
Mhm. She
You
looking
know,
real
we
clean today.
she looking real prim and proper. Like, you
Mhm.
could buy her. Like, no. You don't have that option. And that's
Mhm.
why there's like a huge difference. Because I legit was like reading a little bit into it. There's still more reading I gotta do about the differences between how some debts, um, there's the differences in debts. There's debts, but there's different types of debts and there's levels to it. There's
Mm.
somewhere it's like it's a temporary thing. It potentially could be a good thing for you because it helps out in regards to your credit, in regards to your showing your capability and responsibility for paying things back and on time, and you're good for it, and building your credibility. Some debts is good as the building the credibility, but then there's other debts. It's like it follows you everywhere. While it may or may not help in regards to the credibility aspect, it goes with you where you go. Like, you pick up your bag and leave. If you're living in a shack in the mountain, guess what? You're still responsible for said debt. You still have to pay it back. That doesn't disappear just because you're living off the grid.
As much as
Um,
we'd like. It sucks
no.
though. It sucks though because for old man Joe, as I affectionately like to call him,
Mm, mm, mm,
old man
mm,
Joe has been out here because his whole campaign when he first came in was this student loan. He's like, I'm a
mm.
student debt, you know. I'm a get rid of it. I'm gonna help y'all get rid of it. We in this together. And they had issued the student loan forgiveness plan, which whichever side you fall on, it was done with good intentions. I appreciate that. However, back in June, the Supreme Court said, "Oh hell no, we got to strike you down, old Joe, because this is a problem."
I was devastated.
It was
Devastated.
it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. There were a couple people, including myself, that were like, "Oh, come on, oh, come on, you
Hmm.
gonna do us like that? You gonna do
My
us
thing
like
is,
that?"
my thing is, it's like, the whole premise of it. They had it was packaged as if like all your debt was gonna disappear, but no, that wasn't even the case. It was only a partial of your debt was gonna disappear.
Yeah.
Was because like when you filled it out, it didn't say it was gonna wipe everything clean. It said it was gonna wipe up unto a certain amount. And for me, I was fine with that because again, I worked and busted my ass to get mine's under 10K.
Mhm.
Like, that's probably chunk change to them. The amount that I had remaining, right, was probably a cumulative of all those 3 checks that they gave in the freaking, what was it, the stimulus.
The stimulus for the COVID
Yeah,
19,
it was the
whatever.
COVID stimulus. It was the equivalent of like more than half of that combined was the stimulus checks that was sent out.
And some people didn't even get that.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. So
Yeah.
it makes you wonder. It's like, so you guys gave it before, but you can't like, and the thing is, it's like when I'm thinking about it that way too, how like the stimulus checks that they were given, I could have literally put it towards my student loan.
Mhm.
Put the whole thing towards my student. Like, if I didn't have no other debt, no other bills or whatever, if I put it towards my student loan, I would have been set right now. Literally,
Mm.
the end of this year, I would have been out here like making final payments to my student loan.
That sucks.
Yep.
That sucks. So
Yep.
to have something, to have a plan in place, right? And then for it to be
Hmm.
shut down, which by like reading, I tried reading I not tried. I actually did read it. I didn't finish all of it, but I read it. I try to understand legalese. I'm a work in progress.
No, it's hard. Let me tell you, it's not.
It is.
They purposely don't make it like in. They don't put it in layman's language
No.
for a reason, so people won't understand fully. You know, it's just a small percentage of people that like have a gist of what this is, what they're talking about, and can actually process it. The rest, they just package it. Know, oh, we're gonna pay off your loan. Yeah, I'm gonna be debt free. Don't pay, don't make no backup plans or anything. You know, just
Mhm.
thinking like everything's gonna be all hunky dory, and not thinking about you gotta wait for that foot to drop. Always waiting for that foot to drop. Okay,
Mhm. So, and the foot dropped. So, in a
of course.
6-3 vote, the Supreme Court ruled that federal law can does not authorize the Department of Education to cancel student loan debt. So that was back in June.
Hmm.
Y'all can read the full statement, whatever, whatnot, on their site. I barely try. I barely got through legalese. I ain't trying to do that on this podcast. Point is, Joe tried. He lost. We repaying. That's the point. So starting in October 1st, repayment was supposed to begin. People were supposed to begin paying their payments. Hey, business as usual per everybody else. And then about a week ago, about a week ago, about a week ago, sorry, there's a lot of song analogies.
Yeah, sure.
So about a week ago, Old Man Joe announced that he was going to, you know, announce an additional $9 billion in student debt relief for about 125,000 Americans. And you have to be approved, by the way.
It was
So
always
it's not,
approved.
it was always approved. I'm sure there were people out there like, nah, it ain't. No, 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 no. It was always on an approval basis.
Oh, it
Not all
was.
of you were gonna get it. And I'm
Nope.
pretty sure the original plan was only for those that were under it didn't apply to private loans. I don't think it ever applied to private
No,
loans.
it didn't apply to private loans, only the government loans, and then also, um, it also depended. Like they even asked you because I remember when I filled out the application, they
Mhm.
even asked where you worked.
Mm.
They didn't ask her how much you pay or anything like that. I don't remember having to put that in, but I do remember them asking like where your current place of employment and stuff is. Almost as if they're like, yeah, we're gonna check with the employer, like how much is this person getting paid, type of thing, and why
Yeah.
can't they afford? My thing is, I feel like I don't know if that was the case or not, but I just feel like when jobs do that, or I don't know if it's still allowed that they can do that, but when they do that, it's like we've discussed before in the past, it's like that they're paying me for the experience that I had at that time. I have gained since then much more experience, like in so much other facets of things. You need to pay me for the current experience I have now, not what I had 5 years ago, not what I had 10 years ago. The current experience that you would be getting if you decide
Yeah.
to hire me, that's what you need to pay for.
But you also have to to play devil's advocate. On their end, they're not trying to pay you whatever number that you have in your head. They're trying to pay you what they feel is that makes more sense for them according to their budget, because at the end of the day, a business is a business. They want to keep the profits to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have a certain amount that they have allotted for in their head, that's what they're going to work with. So they're always, I feel like with that situation, they're always going to try and lowball you. Whether they
Makes sense.
intentionally do it or not, they're always going to try and lowball you because it's the benefit to the business. They're like, listen, we're trying to keep as much money for ourselves as a profit.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, you doom devil's advocate, that's perfectly fine. Why
Hmm.
is it then are they practicing dishonest, why are they doing dishonest practices and not just putting how much what their range is that they're willing to pay for this position?
Some
It's
places
because
that some places are now catching up. They're catching up because I'm sure they've been called to the carpet about that situation. So they now generally some places they will list the pay range, or if you
Yeah.
went through, I know for me, I went through a recruiter for my job. I got a pay range, and I know I got like I got higher than what I asked for, thank God, but I fit within the pay range. So
Hmm.
now businesses are are catching up because they're realizing, hey, if we're trying to get employees, we got to dish out the money in the beginning,
Yep.
and then get our money's worth, because if we plan on making any profits, we need employees.
Yep.
If we have no employees, where are these
Yep.
profits?
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like the when you don't put you're like, oh well, I don't want them to know and this and that. It for me, it gives the impressions of like bait and switch, because there's so many other jobs. It's like now I've wasted my time. I've gone through
Yeah.
this process. I filled out your application, which wasn't even easy, by the way. Okay, the
Mhm.
application process should not be taking more than like 5 6 minutes. Why is it taking so long?
Mhm.
Why am I refilling the same thing that's already in my resume again in your specific website or your specific application? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. One.
Mhm.
And two, just so to come to the interview and then you to like basically give me a slap on the face of a range of amount, that's just like, no, that's not even close to what I do. Be honest, put whatever you have that you're willing to put as a range on
Mhm.
there. If people apply, so then that way we both know what we're getting into when we're having this interview. It's not like now we're wasting our time, because you wasted my time as the someone who's looking for a position, and you as an employer have wasted your own time and your money and your resources trying to spend time on someone who would have never looked at your position twice,
Mhm.
purely
Mhm.
because of the range that it is that you have in mind that you're trying to pay for this.
Yeah.
So why play these games?
It's tough. I mean, it's never, a walk in the park. Times change as we progress, but like I said, I've seen it now more so recently, that they've detailed, even in the job description, the pay range.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, I mean, people still do this now, I feel like. They'll go to Glassdoor
Yep.
and they'll see what the pay range is or the environment. Like, people that are interviewing for jobs, they're also interviewing the employer. It's no longer just the employer interviewing the employee. You are now interviewing the employer. It's just like, listen, if I'm going to invest this much time of my day on a daily basis with y'all, I spend majority of my time with y'all during the day than I'd like to. I need to know what I'm getting myself into, all of it. So
Mm-hmm.
people are interviewing them just like they're being interviewed. But with respect to the student loan, so yeah, so Biden announced about a week ago, more money is being funneled into the student loan relief, repayment, whatever nonsense. Almost kind of, to me, almost kind of like a last ditch effort to kind of like, hey, don't worry, I'm still riding for y'all. I'm like, all right, Joe, keep hope
Mm-hmm.
alive. Bless your heart, keep hope alive. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
go down well, but good luck. I don't see this
No.
going. So my question to you is, because when I left school, I had a significantly smaller amount owed compared to those who went and graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my debt ain't in the six figures. Thank the Lord. However, it is a debt that I no longer want on my table.
Yep.
So, for
Nobody
you,
does.
as a college graduate, that piece of paper that, side note, don't let anybody ever tell you that piece of paper don't mean nothing. That piece of
Oh, it
paper is
means
very expensive.
yes, it
It's
is.
very expensive.
Yes, it
And
is. It
you
is
have the
very
debt
expensive.
to prove it.
Yep. This is very expensive. Very, very expensive.
So, as somebody who is currently looking for, I know you're jumping up and down with joy to just give Uncle Sam's cousin more of your money.
I just,
How you
I,
feeling?
I'm literally just sick to my stomach. I just want this to be done. My thing is like it, it gets to a point where they literally like this debt hangs over you for so long that you get to this point where this I don't know if it's you fall into this mentality or whatever, but it's almost like that, that someday mentality, like, oh, one day I'll go to this country or one day I'll travel to here. You kind of
Yeah.
fall into that mentality of being like, oh, one day you're going to pay it off. And depending on how big and how high this debt is, that could very well be your mentality for a very long time.
Oh, that sucks.
Like I'm grateful in the sense of like mine wasn't as high, but there was a lot that went in the background. I worked two part-time job while I was going to school full time. I literally was like begging, crying, like doing whatever I needed to do to get those scholarships and those aids and those
Mhm.
grants
Mhm.
in school because that's what saved me.
Mhm.
Every other day I was like in the financial aid office. I was like, anything you can do for me, like hook me up with something. Is there somewhere I can sign up? Is there something I can enter in? Like give me something, literally anything
I
to
bet you if
help
only
me.
I bet you anything if OnlyFans was on and popping back then feet pictures would have looked pretty nice, huh?
Yo, listen, I was like, Lord Jesus, you're gonna have to forgive me this college tuition. Send.
Yo, you would have been like, listen.
It'll be out here submitting the feet pictures on a Friday to Saturday and Sunday going in the front pew. Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. Ah! I
But I
submitted
was
some feet pictures today, Jesus.
I once heard someone say it's better to ask for forgiveness than to beg for permission.
Lord, let me. You,
Woo!
you know that's just not how it works, okay? I know that's how it works. You can't just see like continuing doing the thing you know is wrong and
I
then be like, yeah, let,
know.
let me continue doing this bad thing until I'm like fully over and out of my system, and then I'll come back, well then I'll come back and one full go ask for forgiveness for all the things and all the time and all the years that I know i
I
was i was knowingly doing this thing that I know was wrong.
I totally and wholeheartedly understand. Trust me, I get it. What I'm saying is, when your back is against the wall,
I
that
know.
is where, listen, how can you justify this if you're
I
willing
know.
to justify it? So my thing is, can you answer for these sins on your way up? Because
Mm.
the Lord, as they like to let us know, you got to answer for your sins. He gonna whip out that book and he gonna be like, back in 2000, feet pics. You want to talk about it? Listen,
Mm-mm.
what you gonna say? You gonna look at him and be like, listen here.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're out here putting up feet pics, it's a little bit less embarrassing than having a whole video, all full body exposure put down there. People be seeing your toes for free at the beach during the summer and springtime for free. If you want to capitalize on that and get some money on it, now that people aren't just looking at your feet or whatever for free, well, no. To think all this time you were providing people with free content and not even knowing it.
I think it's a different. I look at it differently. Like, listen, it's one thing if somebody else is exploiting it, but it's a completely different story when you are the one that is putting out that content yourself.
Hmm.
It's like that whole situation, and I know we're getting off topic, people. We're sorry, but not sorry. But we did warn you that this would happen a lot, so bear with us. It all connects. It all connects. It's like that thing where, remember Cardi B and her record WAP, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know you never saw the video or heard the
Hmm.
song in its entirety. So you just asked me, so what is going on? What is it's something for your ears that you may not want to listen
It
to.
was trending. People was talking about it. People was reacting to said video, and I was
People were
like,
right. They
whatever
were.
it is, it's not for me. It's not for me and the Lord. I am the Lord's child. We
It
don't be
was
putting ourselves in these situations.
it was definitely different.
I'm
Not really
sure.
different. It wasn't different. It was kind of like the same old, same old. However, what was different is because she was the one that was doing it.
Mm,
So it was one of those situations where it's like, so it's okay if a guy was exploiting her and singing about it, because I done heard these dudes when they're on the record and they're singing and they're they're doing whatever their rendition of, trying to serenade you, and it's not really serenading. I don't know. I don't know what you think a serenade is, but this ain't it. You know, this
Mm-mm.
doesn't want to make me get sexy. I'm just letting you know. But it's a completely different story when they do it. It's like it's acceptable, it's okay. But when she does it for herself, it's a problem. Oh, all of a sudden, everybody's got a moral high ground. I was like, sir, I'm gonna need you to relax. If she is out there talking about her hoo ha like that, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but she didn't ask me. Just like
Mm-hmm.
she didn't ask you, she just did it. So I think it's a different situation where if you're the one that's putting it out there, listen, that's on you. Ain't nobody held a gun to your head. Nobody forced you. You did it. That's on you, so you have to answer for it. But if somebody
Mm-hmm.
else does it, then that becomes to me that becomes a sticky situation because now it's somebody else benefiting off of your weakness or whatever situation that you're in, and 9 times out of 10 it's not really something you want somebody else to benefit from. If the money is all going to her and she's talking about it, I mean, hey, that's her business. That is her business. If she wanted out there, I don't know what else to tell you. you know what you looking for? How about that? Let's talk about that. What are you looking
Mm-hmm.
for? Hmm? Stop looking. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But that's that.
I don't know. My thing
That's my
is,
2 cents about that.
I get it. It makes sense. I mean, granted, I don't know if I would be putting putting foot pics online, selling them as my trial and errors of trying to get my finances up and such. But I mean, I've tried. I am willing to try different tactics. As long as it doesn't affect or go against my moral, code. That is one that I have been grappling with for a while. Well, on one hand, I'm like, it's it's innocent and stuff, but my thing that I just can't get over, it's because I know once you post it on that site, you know that those who are purchasing it are not doing it and like, oh, it's just feet. Because if it's like, oh, it's just feet, no one will be lining up to pay for it because they have,
Hmm.
a certain attention behind the purchase is
That
the
is,
thing that I can't be a part of supporting.
you
I
don't
want
want
to
to be
get
a
paid.
part of. You don't want to be a part of the foolishness, is what you're saying, which is
Yes.
completely wholeheartedly understandable. But where I stand on is, if I'm in a situation, in a financial situation that I need to get out of, I'm focused on, how do I pay these bills? How do I repay these student loan debts? Because, as much as my moral high ground is somewhere up here, somewhere floating around. So I haven't seen it in a couple of days, so I don't know where it's at right now, but it's somewhere around. My conscious of being able to, like, you know what? Can I answer for this when the time comes? And when I do answer, am I able to accept whatever consequences that come with it? If it's a strong no, then it's a no. But if it's a I will deal with it when I cross that bridge, that's the attitude that I have. And I feel like when it comes to these particular situations, granted, this is just student loans, and we are just under the assumption that everything else in your life is somewhat stable in terms of finances, and you don't have to necessarily worry in that case, meaning
Mm-hmm.
you're not, on the brink of bankruptcy. You're not on the brink of being evicted out of your own home, like, no, none of the, foreclosure. You're not in those situations. Then I think, if it's not that type of situation, I feel like other stuff, if you can find another way, that's great. I would prefer you to do so. But
Mm-hmm.
if you are in those situations where it's just like, I can't seem to get my way out and it's hard,
Yeah.
I can't necessarily fault you for going down that route.
No, my thing is like I would never fault anyone for doing what they had to do to survive. Because my thing is like I like what I'm sure like at some point, if you've had some time to yourself, the thought has crossed your mind like, oh, would I do something like this or whatever? Like these are
Hmm.
the things because you have to self-reflect. I know that there's parts of myself that I probably have not unlocked purely because they're situational type of parts of myself. They're not ones that's just like out there on the day to day just hanging around. No, they're the parts of myself that's like I've been backed up to a corner. My life, my family's life, whatever the situation, the people I care about is in danger, and I need to do anything and everything and whatever I need to do to survive.
Hmm.
When you get pushed to those situation, you just don't know what's going to get unlocked, what's coming out of Pandora's box.
No, yeah, that's it. You don't know. So I feel like with and on this topic, and we're trying to keep it to the student loans. I feel like in terms of like figure out ways to get out of debt, because that is the overall goal. The
Yep.
less money I can give to Uncle Sam, the better, because he is not entitled to
Facts.
all of it.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if it was you or your sister. Somebody told me legally, I don't know, show me the law where it says we have to pay them taxes.
The crazy thing, there is none. But the issue is with that is it's like the way that I've kind of rationalized this is this. You're essentially are being charged for being allowed to have or access to these so quote unquote amenities that you would not have otherwise for not paying these said taxes. So it's almost like you're being punished. It's like the simplest way I feel like I can explain is like, let's say you go to like there's like a hotel, right? This hotel, part of your stay comes with complimentary breakfast, maybe
Yeah.
lunch, and you get access to like the pool and all these amenities, right? But
Mhm.
at the same time, it allows people from the street to be able to come in and have like maybe access to like their restaurant or something. And then someone who's from the street who isn't staying as a guest decides that they're going to make use of the free amenities that the people who are staying there have access to because they've paid to be there. But someone who hasn't paid is now having access to those things as well. So then of course, the what's it called, the hotel, which is like the government, is seeing
Mhm.
as like, oh well, you're enjoying all these amenities and this, that, and that purely because you live amongst all these other people who are subscribing and paying for these said amenities. You now have to pay too. There's no law that says you have to pay, but we're also making rules and regulations to enforce that you have to pay. You don't have to pay, but these are the consequences if you don't.
So wouldn't that in it turn by saying if by saying we're not legally bound to pay, but we are gonna legally enforce you to pay, wouldn't that inadvertently say, oh, then you are bound to pay?
Yes and no, because there's no
Okay.
explicit that says yes, you have to. That's
Okay.
why. That's why if you look at it, it's like, oh, those who make like under 20 grand or something like that. I don't know if they've moved up that amount. They
Mhm.
don't have to file taxes.
Because they're too poor.
Essentially,
Is
yeah.
well then, because
because
Uncle
it
Sam
because it
needs
makes
his
no sense.
cut,
Because if
and you
if
don't
it
make enough to
was,
pay my cut.
yeah, exactly. So it's like we want you poor enough, okay? We want you poor so that it's just very twisted. Because the thing is, it's like you need to be poor enough, okay, so that
Yeah.
you don't have to pay those certain taxes. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, you can't be too, you need to make enough that you can be able to put a roof over your head and this, that, and the third, and not be utilizing services for people who are legitimately struggling. But we're
Yeah.
going to put this ridiculous number of what we think the poverty line is, you know, have that number be set for like over 30 something years, not change it or progress it as inflation and things are going up, and think that this is okay. Like people are going to be able to legitimately survive on $30,000 a year. More than half of that already goes to the rent. If you're paying $2,000 plus, because most places like what, 2,500 now, 24. That's the
Oh,
average, the
for rent?
standard. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
the
rent.
average. Yeah, I think the average is like 2 grand.
Yeah. So if you're paying $2,000, right? $2,000 times 12 months. How much is that?
Not enough for you to be digging into my pocket.
Yeah. And if you're making like what? If you're making under like 80K, you're not surviving. You're barely surviving. If you're
Cause
making 80K, rent is $2,000 a month. And that doesn't including car note if you have one, student loan, gas, electricity, any repairs to your car, food shopping, laundry if you have to go out and to a facility to do it, gas for the car, and that's all after the taxes that's already been taken. Yeah, on paper, 80,000 is what they're giving you. Once Uncle Sam gets his cut, it takes like a whole ton from you. At best, you're probably getting like what, 70,000.
Well, let me see, because I actually pulled up the salary calculator that I used before I accepted my job. And hold on, for Massachusetts, and it varies by state too, because there's the federal, and then you have to take the state taxes too.
Yep,
So
yep.
that changes things.
Hmm.
And according to that, so if you agree to a salary of 80,000, right? There's no
Yep.
overtime, that's just your salary.
Hmm.
Your first paycheck, your take home would be 2310. So $2,310.42. Meaning Uncle Sam takes about $770 in income tax in federal taxes.
Yep.
So that's your federal, social, and Medicare. And then if this was state, because it's Massachusetts, they
Hmm.
would take 142.08 in the state level, and then the medical insurance and family leave stuff is like rounded up to like $10, $11. So in
Yep.
total, you would walk away with 700 and they would walk away with $766.50 per pay period.
Hmm. So if you're getting paid bi-weekly, so we say twice a month, so
hmm
750 times 2.
So 766 is the number, 766.50 times 2. Uncle Sam walks away with $1,533 a month.
Every single month. They're not clocking in when you're working. They're not helping out with this work when you're working. And if anything, they take money from you to support and fund these so-called programs to help those that need help, and then shame you when you do need the help and you try to apply to get the help. Why am I getting approved to get access to my money that you've taken from me in the first place to put into programs to help when I get into situations like this? That doesn't make any sense.
It's not, because that means that they don't want to, they want to keep as much as they possibly can
Mm-hmm.
without having to pay out. Because you got to think about it this way, right? The state, you got to think about it this way. Each state has a budget for the state itself, and then each city and town have to submit their budget for their jurisdiction to the state, and then the state has to divvy that out to each location, because you got to think of schools, the public works,
Yep.
so they take care of the roads and the signs and the street lights and all of that stuff. So then you have the public schools, you have that, you have people, listen, who picks up the trash then? Who do they get paid? If that's dependent
Mm-hmm.
on the city, they got to get paid. um the police department, the fire department, um other facilities associated with that. Anything that falls under the state's purview, that's got to be taken into consideration when they're doing the budget for the fiscal year. Now, if you go over that budget, that money's got to come from somewhere.
Oh
And we
no.
are, and so every I would say every term, there's got to be a review that's done. So now if they go over that budget, now they got to dip back in and be like, come to the American people, come to the residents. Hey, now, no, I said I wouldn't, do the thing that I said I wouldn't do, but I got to do it. We over budget.
Mm-hmm.
So you pull enough money from them. Friend, we got to pull it from somewhere. What I think for some, we don't take into consideration, yeah, we have our own on a state level, but also as a country. The country itself Take whatever, take this scenario that I have for the state and then multiply it by 50. That's the country.
Wow.
We
That's
are not
crazy.
as rich as we used to. So you hear the ones that, back in my day. Yeah, back in your day, milk was 20 cents a gallon.
Hmm.
That's not the same thing today.
You
Milk was
can
20
actually
cents a gallon. Gas was 50 cents a gallon for regular. That ain't the case today.
nope. And
That ain't
the
the
thing
case.
the thing about it is too, it's not even just the gas. Like the pay and the cost of living was affordable that you could survive on one income household. You can barely like survive on two nowadays, let
Yeah.
alone one income making it. Like, unless if you were one of those, like, you started working by the age of 12, 13, 14, or whatever, and you had the know-how and the smart sense to already start investing at such a young age, where your money has already now just, double, triple, quadruple, whatever the case may be. So by the time you're in like your 30s and your 40s, when the around the age now where it seems like if families are being made,
Hmm.
that's around that time, early 30s, mid 30s, maybe even 40s if we're
Mid
pushing it.
mid 20s to, I would say, early 30s is when like the baby making process is really cracking.
Yep. Yep.
By late 30s, early 40s, you're on the late stage of things.
Mhm.
But like by then, kids are in the picture. Kids and the dog.
Yep. Yep.
So it's not as cookie cut. Listen, for me, even my situation, I had to move back home. I
Yep.
was on my own until I really realized fiscally I could not afford it. So moving back
Mhm.
home was literally the only option.
Cause it's so
Like,
expensive.
you want me to survive out here in these streets? Move back home. Move back
Yep.
home.
No,
I mean, I've
honestly,
tried.
people are like, "Oh, I don't want to go back to on the third." And I was like, "Listen,
No one
if
does.
this, if the situation is you have a roof over your head, you're not being asked to pay rent, you're helping out here and there where you can in the house, consistently, but it's a small portion compared to what you were dishing out before. Save, 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 save." Every little bit that you can. Listen, use that fuel of you being back home as motivation to hurry up and get the F out. Not get the F out and go to apartment, get the F out and get your own place. Like,
Exactly.
save, do whatever you gotta do. Get yourself a
I
property, get yourself an investment, rent. Rent out a room. Get a three
Mhm.
bedroom, rent out a room. You're
figure.
paying the rent, now you got somebody else that's paying for the room and whatever. Like,
Yeah,
do what you gotta do.
it's not as easy as they want to make it seem.
Nope.
And yes, you can make certain sacrifices here and there to offset the costs, and like, be uncomfortable right now so you can be comfortable later. But like
Hmm.
at this point, in today's time, like right now, how much more? Basically, you would have to give up your cars,
Yep.
give up eating,
Well,
give up everything just to
well,
have a roof over your head.
we don't want to get crazy about the give up the eating. Like,
No, but that's what I'm saying. They'll
I
tell
know.
you, oh, you got to give up this, you got to give up this, you got to make the sacrifice, blah, 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 blah. Well, there are sacrifices being made. And if this is coming from imagine if that's something coming from someone that has no student debt and they're struggling, you cannot tell me that those that have it isn't making the same decision.
No,
Too many
no,
people
it's
in our
true.
graduating classes have had to make decisions in terms of career wise only because they needed to pay back their student loans,
I
not
know.
because they're not following their dream per se, but
Nope.
they gotta be able to listen. I done took out so many loans and this is that and da 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 da. I gotta pay this back, so the job needs to meet that so I can at least pay this back and have a shot at a decent future 20 30 years down the line. Like, that's the thinking that we have.
Hmm.
We don't have the luxury, and I'm going to call it that because it is. We don't have the luxury to graduate high school, hell, even leave high school, go to a factory job, go to a blue collar job, work there, work for an employer for 20, 30 years, have a pension, have a retirement, buy the house, do all that, and then, be set for the rest of your life. We don't have that. That is now the luxury.
No, yep, it's true. Pensions are things are practically of the past now. If you find a job or there's a job somewhere where there's doing that, like snatch it up.
Union jobs are have been under a tremendous threat for the longest.
Hmm.
Union jobs, which negotiates your salary, your benefits, your way of life, financially speaking, between your union rep and your employer. So that way, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our bottom line, and you can't
Yeah.
get no lower than that. That has been under a threat for the longest.
Hmm.
They want to do away with that. So
Yep.
imagine that out the door. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. I wouldn't be surprised if they had children under the age of 16 back in the factories doing dirt poor borderline slavery pay.
Oh no, there was a state that was like down south. I forget which state it was. It was like middle America or something like that.
Mhm.
That they were having kids that were underage working in the mines.
Yeah.
Like they would sneak him in the mines, like they would forge the papers and be like, oh yeah, they're 18, but they would be like 16 or 15 or something like that because the people in the area knew that, oh, kid so and so's parent or whatever is sick and they need the family need the money. And this is the one place where it's like it's gonna give them like enough money or whatever to be able to do it. But of
I
course, it's like they're not even paying them actual like minimum wage.
That's below minimum
It's
wage.
it's the low below minimum wage,
Damn
but
near
it's like, oh,
stipend.
they need the money and their parent or whatever is sick or the household needs it, so they are
Mhm.
doing whatever that they got to do.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I heard something similar to that. It wasn't mines, it was for a factory. And it was like a cleaning company that a factory used. It was like one of those third party kind of situations. And they
Mm,
and the way I have to find that article or whatever where I found it from. Basically, you know how like when you get hired at a new job, you got to go through the e-verify whatever nonsense.
mm-hmm.
Well, if the paperwork that you submit is faulty, as in it's faulty because it's not your identification, but it's actually true, but it's just not true for you, that
Oh,
information goes through. That's how they're able to do it. So let's say you are under 18 and you have an ID. Let's say I'm your sister and I'm over 18. You take my information, you put it down. That's going to go through.
I think that's like a similar article that I read too.
I think I gave it to
Cause,
you.
Cause I remember there was a part in there that was like
Yeah,
talking about that, like that
I,
paperwork and so forth. But the one that I read though, I'm pretty sure it was a mining town, and it
mm,
was talking about like mines. I'm pretty sure it was like a mine. All I know is it was a blue collar job for sure,
mhm.
and they were talking about how they were paying underpay, and just like you said, in regards to that kind of query or that check that they would do,
The e-verify.
the e-verify, yeah, that they would do it like put the information of somebody else so they can pass as being this 18 plus year old when they know
Mhm.
that this child was like 14, 15, or 16, 17 or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. Because the whole point would be, are you legally able to work in the United States? Technically, yes, but it's not you. It's
Hmm.
somebody else. So it's
Hmm.
almost like you need somebody over 18, somebody who's a resident or a citizen, and somebody, that'll give you just get the information, pass it through, and then there you go.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's ridiculous, I tell you. It's ridiculous. So yeah.
Seriously.
Listen, I am all for people, listen, I'm just gonna pack up and move to Aruba or something. I'm all for
Listen, I
it. I don't know what's out there, but let me
n-
know.
now more than ever, I'm like seriously contemplating just like what is out there outside of the US, because this ain't it, fams. This is not it. Like even listen, I'm not even trying to be like, oh, like lap of luxury. I want like the name brand head to toe, blah blah blah, this and the third. Listen, if I could be in a place where at least my health is not like a for profit situation, when I go to the doctors, I can trust that they're gonna give me the same treatment because they know that like they don't want me being in this hospital. They don't want me coming back.
Mhm.
They want to make sure I get the best care just so like I stay out of the hospital. Like you can't even do that here. You
Yeah.
can't even do it because it's like you always have it in the back of your mind. Oh, is my insurance good enough? Because that's how they get judged. That's another way of them discriminating you. Oh, well, you have this insurance. You don't have the best of the best. You don't have like a co-insurance, like, or supplementary insurance and stuff. Because when you're stacked and stacked, you have one really good insurance that like covers damn near everything, and then you also have a supplementary one. So there's literally like they can bill both of them. The facilities can build whatever they want and just keep sucking money out of your insurance. Oh yeah, they're gonna want you to stay there as long as possible, give you that nice treatment and this, that, and the third. You, on the other hand, Joe Schmo from the street, can barely afford the one insurance that you have. There's different treatment. You're getting placebos, you're getting sugar pills, you're getting this. Meanwhile, the rest are getting like actual medications, actual this, and they're getting the actual treatment they said. How do you take an oath to say to save people's lives, but then are put in a whole situation where the ones that's really running things, the ones that's really in charge of stuff, are the insurance company, the ones that's for profit, that are getting profit every time that you fill a bed, every time you keep the hospital full, every time someone is sick. The ones who are making the profit, that they're the ones who would have the power and the monopoly to dictate basically all these facilities that provide more than 50% of the care
Well, you just said it.
throughout the state.
It's not the one that's giving the care, it's the one that writes the check. And the one that is writing the check, unfortunately, is this particular industry. Um, and unless if there's one or two ways you can look at, well, not one or two ways, it's really one way. You got to know how to work the system. You got to know how to work the system. And I wouldn't put in past. I personally, in my personal belief, I wouldn't put it past any of those that do work in the medical field, that they know how to finagle their way just
Mm.
so they could get they just so they can get their patients the quality of life that they know for a fact. Because it makes sense that you would listen to the medical professional who went to school for this, who's got the debt to reflect it, who's got the experience, who's got the knowledge, who's got all of that right behind them. You think you would listen to them for their medical advice. But then you, on the other hand, you over here is telling them, nah, do something else. Okay, sir. Okay.
That's that's crazy.
That's what
I
you
never
think.
I never understood how salesperson is the one that's giving education towards a medical thing where they have no degree and no say to be speaking on it
That,
to
my
people.
friend, my friend is the prime example of, you have that one family member that's like, what does the doctor know? That's what it is. It's the salesperson telling it. What do you know? I would hope they would know
Yeah,
a lot more than you. They gonna cut
exactly.
me open. What you gonna do? Just stare at me?
Yep.
Send me an invoice? No, thank you.
Why you gasp for air from the price shock?
What do you want to leave the folks? I feel like we were started off on a roll and this ended up being a rant talking about buck the system. I think that's what we should call it. We should call this episode Buck the System.
Hmm. I'm down for that. I'm down
What
for
do you
that.
want to leave the people?
People, thank you as always for coming back, for listening to us, our little rants, our little girls chat, everything we have to talk about, like, all the important things, how it's affected us, how it's not. All I can say is hang in there. There will be a light at the end of that tunnel. I don't know when it'll come. I don't know how it'll come. I don't know what way. God will deliver. Okay, it will come. Your day, your time will come. Just keep plugging away, keep pushing through, keep that goal in mind, set it out. Okay, whatever. If you believe in God, great. If you believe, something out there in the universe, put it out. Let the universe know. If that's what you believe in, let the universe know. Write it down. The goals that you're trying to achieve, write it down, put them out there, and just keep working towards it. And before you know it, you'll look up and you'll just manifest it. It'll be there.
I also think it's important that people, you know, if you have questions regarding your listen, I know you don't want to. I don't want it for you either. I don't want it for myself. I don't even want it for the person that I can't stand. I want it for no one. But this is something that we have to do until we can figure out a way out of it, or until old man Joe can convince Congress and everybody else to get in line. But until that day comes, y'all just gonna have to send that check.
Yo, right. If they let old
Y'all
man Joe up there, he's gonna be like, "Wait, what was I talking about again?" Then there goes the whole argument.
leave old man Joe alone. Leave him alone. He's been through enough. He out here trying to fight for our student loan repayment dream, whatever that
Yeah,
may be.
yeah. By the time this get passed through, I already done paid off myself. Please, f this.
Well, for the rest of y'all that's still holding on to hope, please visit studentaid.gov. It's a great source for ways to prepare yourself for the impending doom of repaying your student loans. I know y'all don't want to. Y'all don't dream of it. I'm sorry. Until somebody tells us otherwise and we get it in writing, this is just gonna have to be. And I'm pretty sure there are other ways to get credit and to get reimbursed, but I don't have that information in front of me right now because they done changed everything. But please, people, make your payments. All right. I didn't say pay the whole thing. Listen, I suggest you start with the minimum payments. If $30 is all you got, $30 is all you got. They can take it or
Hmm.
leave it. They'll take it though, but they'll complain. But just start somewhere. So definitely visit, federal, visit studentaid.gov. It's an excellent resource. Go through there, contact your, private lender, or contact your lender, get some information there. I'm sure they're more than willing to work with you. It's been almost 2 years. People haven't paid a damn thing. They want people to pay their money back. They want something. So I'm sure they're more than willing to work with you. It'll be okay, people. It'll be okay. We will get through this together. And if not, I suggest you send all your complaints to old man Joe because it's his
Damn,
fault.
Skippy. Let them know.
It's his fault. Send it to Congress. It's their fault. Send it to the Senate, House. The House of Representatives. It's all their fault. They've been paid their debts a long time ago with the way they look. Blame them. Send your bill to them and let them figure it out.
Hmm. Well, as I said, hang in there, guys. Until the next time,
Bye.
bye.